So there's this odd thing that happens between the intersection of wanting things and actually receiving things. So as you're working on being a master manifester, what you find out is that the more you want something, the more your desire for it and the more your faith in it has to grow. It's this kind of Venn diagram, if you look at it, that tracks like the energy of wanting, which is kind of a pushing away, and this actual knowing that kind of pulls it in. So you have to have finesse this fine-tuned area to where you at least want or desire or actually have faith 1% more than you desire or want it. If you can think about this, like say that you were a pretty girl at the bar and you're sitting there at the end of the bar and this person is being very demonstrative and being very overly chatty and really pursuing you really, really hard. What happens whenever you are really chased after? You run. Well, the same thing happens with those things that you desire. Because usually if you're like overly chatty, you're like overzealous in trying to achieve something, it's usually from this sense of lack or unworthiness, or this idea that you really can't have it. And you almost have to sort of like trick it into being so, or you have to like really work at it being so. And the way things naturally come to us and stay with us is when we are in one, when we are in tune with things. And you'll often see like the men that have the most confidence or the ones, or even the women that have the most confidence. I don't mean to make this sexist in any way, but the person that is the most confident is the one that usually has the mate that feels the most secure in their partnership. And the same thing happens when you meet somebody that really seems to have the type of abundance you're wanting to have, and they're very much at ease with that abundance. It just seems to be just a part of who they are and how they are. And even if they work hard, you can tell that they work hard because they're more enjoying the game of it than that they are trying to gain something. I mean, you know the other type of person too that is pushing really, really hard to attain something. And those are the people that you normally see either lose it or they're very unhappy and they end up, usually having heart attacks and strokes because you can see they're just really, really working and striving hard. And generally those people, they might attain what they think they want, but then they're still always in this striving mode. It's like it's just never, ever enough. So it's this idea of having unattachment to those things that you desire that actually brings it in. I know that seems illogical, that the less you attach to it, the less you need it, the more likely it is to come in. But you can imagine that you put almost like this force field around yourself. The more that you're grabbing and striving for something, you create like this barrier or a fence around, literally like an electrical fence around yourself. Think about those fences, those invincible fences they have for dogs where they can't go out of the yard. It's almost like you're building that around yourself because you're saying, I want you, but don't come here because I'm not worthy of it. And what it really truly is you're almost afraid to be that person that has that. Because generally speaking, in those cases, you're going to have stories wrapped around what that type of person that has whatever it is that you want is. And you're afraid either that you aren't good enough to be that person, or at your heart of hearts, you don't want to be that person because you've attached all kinds of other stories to it. There's lots of stories in the Western world that, people that are rich or people that are wealthy. And the only reason I use money is because it's something kind of universal. But there's this idea of evilness that's put with those that have a lot of wealth and a lot of money. And there certainly are people that have a lot of wealth and a lot of money that certainly don't seem to use it in the most effective way to help the world. That is certainly true. But that doesn't mean that you have to be the same way. It doesn't mean that you can't attain wealth or material goods and not be a person that brings light and love to the world. Those are not antithetical things. It's just the story that we've wrapped around it in our world to where those things seem to go hand in hand. And we also have the story that you have to be that striving person. You have to be that person that perhaps doesn't do everything completely right, that you have to kind of fake and finagle and perhaps lie a little bit in order to achieve, because certainly you couldn't just get it naturally. But look at the abundance that absolutely surrounds us in every moment. I mean, think about every time you breathe out, you don't worry about whether or not you're going to be able to breathe in. You think about every night when you lay down at night after the sun's gone down, you're really not that concerned about whether the sun's going to go back up. Now, how much can you pay to have the sun come back up? How much money would it cost you to have a room full of oxygen for you to be able to breathe every day? So this is abundance that is available to you in every moment. And think about how much more important to life that sunlight is and that air is than having the newest iPhone. What is more difficult to make for the universe? Which of the two, at the end of the day, which of the two could you make in a factory in enough volume to where everybody would have enough? And which of the two would be almost impossible for man to make? So which one has actually the most value? And it's funny that the thing that actually has the most value, the air, the oxygen, the water, the earth itself, the plants, the flora, the fauna, the sun, the moon, the cosmos, all those things are available to everybody in the same or almost the same measure without having to even do anything or pay anything. It's simply given just out of the love of the universe that is yours. So what is true abundance then? Is true abundance having the newest phone or the biggest car or the nicest house or the largest bank account? Not that there's anything wrong with those, but when you start putting things into scope, when you start understanding how much you are actually taken care of in every moment and the amount of abundance that you already have that you simply take for granted, because there aren't rap songs about oxygen and sunlight. There aren't movies about people achieving water to drink. Well, maybe there are that, but in most cases, and you don't see those types of things happening. You see movies about people achieving material goods that are produced by man, which are certainly wonderful, but how much easier are those to actually produce than the natural resources that you have in abundance? So when you step into that idea that you're already abundant and you start understanding what is truly important, how long can you do without oxygen, or how long can you do without your iPhone? Now, I am one that has probably 2 iPhones on me almost all the time, so even I'd have to think for a second, but I do realize that if I were to be dunked underwater and I had my iPhone in my hand, if I had to let go of my iPhone to get up above water, I would very quickly do that, because I understand the importance of the two and which one is more critical and which one is going to help me to get to life in the next moment. And then I could simply go out and get another iPhone, but I can't get more air than what is already provided to me naturally. So as you begin to unattach yourself from the importance of having things in that you think that you need this thing to show your worth, when you give up that attachment and you simply understand that having certain things, having certain situations in life, having a special other person, or being, at a special place on the beach or in the forest, that those are simply things to help you to excel in joy, but not things that you have to have in order to live. When you understand those are just things that are additions to the joy that you already have, to the abundance that you already have, you give up the attachment to it. You give up the idea that if I don't have it, I'm poor. You start understanding your true wealth. And once you understand your true wealth, and what money and wealth and all resources is always about, you step into the idea that I really already have all that I need, and having more is amazing, but it's not because I need it. It's because I prefer it, and it would be more fun, and it would add more joy to my life, but I'm okay in this moment, and I'm going to have fun as I see more and more gifts revealed unto me. So it's the idea of, and you can go both ways at it. You can really, really think you need this thing and have a huge desire and really, really push for it, and you'll probably achieve it. The thing of it is, though, you always end up at the end of the journey the way you were along the journey. So if you spend a journey really in striving and pushing and shoving and manipulating, just overly manipulating or motivating yourself, really not having that much fun, that's the person you're going to end up at the end goal when you have whatever this thing or this situation is. That's the person you're going to be. And at the end of the day, everything that you desire, whether it's a relationship, a pile of money, a house or car, a situation, a job, whatever it might be, everything that you believe that you desire, the reason you desire is because you're seeking out the feeling that you believe that you will have at the end of it. And that feeling is actually achievable right now. It's actually achievable in this moment. And what that does for you is you simply become that person for whom that feeling and for whom that situation is normal. It's your normal. It's your natural. And when you see somebody that has whatever that situation is that you really want, they've had that and that is just part of who they are, you see them just being it. You see them being it, and you see them almost a little bit nonchalant about it. Not that they don't care about it, and not that they're not grateful for it, but they're simply relaxed in the knowledge that that is just who they are. And that's just how life is for them. And that's how life is always for them. And you can do the same thing, and you can begin to do it right now. And that is the true mastery of manifestation, is when you can start just allowing things to come to you, to be attracted to you, rather than you always running after them. And then when they actually attract and come to you, and they're there in your existence, they're there in your perception, they're there in your reality, they're there in substance with you, then you are already in a great place, and you are fully able to enjoy and really immerse yourself into the experience of it, rather than now you've achieved it and you're worn out and you're stressed out and you don't even know who you are in this moment, because there's no way to be this overworked, striving person, and then you finally get what you wanted to attain. There's no switch that you can just flip off and become this new relaxed person that just has this thing. That's almost impossible to do. You can't like turn that boat around or turn that boat off immediately. You can ramp it down, but why not reach that point already being that, and then having that pull itself to you, because that's absolutely what happens. So, like I say, it's this magical, almost illogical dance between unattachment and not striving so hard and just being who that is and allowing it to come to you. I'm knowing that that's helping. I'm knowing that's reaching somebody out there. I'm so excited to see all the things that are happening for you, all the joy that you're attaining right here and now in this moment, the amount of abundance that you're bringing into you, and how many people you're going to show to live that same life of joy, and how that's going to change the world. That's amazing. Love, peace, and release. Hey, while I've got you, have you ever wondered more about the angels, who they are, how they can help you in your life, and what you can do, and what your full potentiality is? How do you live in joy? How do you have peace? How do you have health and abundance and good relationships? And just how can you traverse the angelic realm and finally let go of the pain and suffering that you are going through right now in whatever is in your life. You ever wondered? I would love for you to join my free private Facebook group, Divine Angelic Manifestors. You'll see the link at the end of this video, or down below rather, but it's go to facebook.com/groups/Divine Angelic Manifestors. It's free, it's private. I would love to see you there. Love, peace, release.